What's going on? I'm here with somebody who is staring down the camera and will refuse to move for the entire show. I'm just kidding. There is no camera for my buddy here, James Reiner, and that's Reiner like Attack on Titan Reiner. So a static image is just going to have to do. But welcome to the show. James, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. This is my girlfriend's in the chat. She says, wait, I believed you for half a second. He's also a ventriloquist.
Yes, guys, it's me, Reiner, from Attack on Titan.
Yep. It is I, talking without moving my mouth, man. She says, I literally thought he was edgelord staring the whole time. That's great.
Yeah, I kind of like taking photos that are just like like staring through the screen, you know?
Yeah. Stare into my soul. Well,
your soul is mine.
Well, great segue, because I was just going to introduce you as definitely the biggest Shenmue fan I've ever met, which is what we're going to talk about today. But you rival myself. You might even be into Mortal Kombat more than I am, and those who know me mean that is a very tall order. So,
yeah, Mortal Kombat is it's a good time. I don't know though. You've cosplayed in Mortal Kombat. I've only done one Mortal Kombat cosplay, so you got me beat there.
I guess that's true, although I didn't cosplay a developer. So am I really a real fan? Speaking of, I would love to share that story/photo right now. So we were just talking off mic how we met, and it was at Katsucon 2016, which means this has been 10 years since we met, which makes me like, I feel like all my hair is turning gray and is about to fall out.
Yeah, almost on the dot, because Katsucon would have been only like a few weeks ago.
That's true.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, like February. Like, it's usually early in the year. I know, because it was freezing, and that was the year that there was a fire, and it made everybody have to go outside.
Yeah, and then like literally the next day, some Avatar cosplayers had signs that said the Fire Nation attacked, which was pretty funny.
That's awesome. Someone in chat, Bob Sherbs, says, does cosplaying as a developer mean getting arthritis in your wrist and Cheeto dust on your shirt? No.
Yeah, it's arthritis, a lot of pizza, and not sleeping.
Yeah,
that's the best cosplay.
And a cot under your desk.
Yeah. No, I've been there. I've slept in my office a few times.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, so at this convention, I met you at the Mortal Kombat cosplay meetup, which here I'm going to show a photo on screen real quick. Those who know deep Mortal Kombat lore, here he is in the bottom corner of the screen, Mr. Dan Forden, aka Toasty himself. This was a hilarious photo, and I love this. My partner at the time and I are the Sub-Zero and Jade in this photo, and James here is Dan Forden popping out the corner of the screen to yell Toasty. I
look like I'm photoshopped in.
Seriously, but no, I assure you, this is real, 100% real. And another funny story about this moment is Ed Boon, the god of gods of the Netherrealm himself, creator of Mortal Kombat, co-creator of Mortal Kombat, shared this picture along with several others, and specifically said, with his words, his actual words, these are some of my all-time favorite Mortal Kombat cosplays. So I felt like I could just die happy after that one. I don't know about you.
Yeah. No, I felt very humbled, and it's one of those moments where it kind of makes the world feel small,
Yeah.
Because someone of his like status in that like game, like you would think he's just what's the word I'm looking for? Like he would never be involved with like just like fans like us, because he's like the guy,
Yeah.
So for him to go out on I still call it Twitter. I know it's called X now, but I'm still used to saying Twitter.
Same.
For him to tweet that, like, it's such a nice gesture,
Totally. Bob Sharps in chat says, that's so cool. I don't know much about Mortal Kombat, and you can tell because he spelled it with a C. But that has to be top tier cosplay. Thank you for that. That is yeah, apparently Ed Boon thought so too. So that was very cool. Also, like, I'm not standing on anything in this photo. Like, I just jumped really high in the air to make it look like I got like down-two'd into oblivion.
I wish I knew who took this photo because you're midair, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like perfectly framed. Whoever actually took
know.
this photo was a genius. Can I tell a funny story about this night?
Please do.
Yeah, so one of my favorite memories, since we're kind of going down memory lane right now,
Yeah.
is when so at this cosplay photo shoot, I only knew like one person that was there, and I just kind of showed up because I like Mortal Kombat, and I thought it would be really funny to dress as Dan Forden.
Yeah.
Now, fun fact: I also had the Mortal Kombat 9 version and the Mortal Kombat, I think it's MK3, where he has a black shirt, and then MK9, it's the gray shirt with the toast.
Yeah,
on it. I had those as well.
I remember you were like,
But,
"Hey, can I photobomb you as Dan Forden?" I was like, "Oh hell yeah, that's awesome!" You're like, "Which version do you want?" I have MK2, 3, 9. I was like, "Yo, definitely the purple shirt," because the purple shirt was 2, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
But my favorite moment was at the end of the photo shoot. They had all of us make like a half circle, and there was a guy with a camera that went from right to left around the half circle, just like photoing everybody. And I think people did poses or whatever.
Yeah.
And he stopped right before me because he thought that I was just some guy standing there, not realizing that I was cosplaying as Dan Forden.
Yeah.
So the person who I was friends with might have been one of the people running the photo shoot. I don't necessarily remember, but they had to. They restarted that half circle photo shoot to include me at the end. I was so sad. I was like, but I'm cosplaying Dan Forden.
I made the game. I made all the audio. That's awesome. And that was
I actually messaged this photo to Dan Forden himself, which was really cool as well.
That's awesome. I got a shout out one time from John Tobias, the other half of the Noob Cybot duo. Because I made a TikTok where I was like sitting next to like a pair of my sneakers, and I was like, so I woke up today and I found a scorpion in my shoe, and I look down and I like pick it up and like try to shake it out, and I have like a scorpion from Mortal Kombat like action figure fall out, and I was like, ah. So he shared it. I was like, yes, shout outs from both of them.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love John Tobias. His work on this story was so well done. I love the original Mortal Kombat lore.
Oh my god, I know. It's such a... and we could talk about Mortal Kombat for freaking ages, but it truly feels like a kid playing with their toys. You know, like you have like robots and ninjas and demons and witches, and it's just like... It captures that feeling of like just being a kid in the 90s, just dicking around with your toys, and I love it so much.
Yeah, I wish I still had my old Mortal Kombat figurines. I don't remember what brand they were, but they were like these like maybe 3-inch tall little figures. They might have been bootleg. I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah, you're talking about like the G.I. Joe ones?
Really, I don't know. I just remember when I was like really young, so maybe like 7 or 8 years old. Playing with these figurines while I'm taking a bath.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And I used to have them do little Mortal Kombat fights and like fatalities and stuff.
Yes.
And then there would be a stage fatality where they would fall into the bath.
Yeah. And then it would go, ow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. There's a little bit of a delay on my end. I apologize. My Wi-Fi is terrible, so if I'm interrupting you, I really apologize.
Oh, it's okay.
What is your favorite toasty? I have 2 of them that I both, or that kind of both are my number one like toasty. So like, which variation of toasty is your favorite?
So I'd say probably all around. I think it's the purple shirt. I think it's MK2, probably because that's my favorite Mortal Kombat. The purple shirt just feels so much more iconic than the black or the gray. But I do have a soft spot for MK4 when he goes Toasty 3D because it was the first 3D game.
Yeah. This is why I love you, because those are my 2 favorites as well.
Oh hell yeah.
Everybody forgets the 3D toasty, and it makes me so sad.
3D. It's so funny. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm giving you a virtual
so good
dap up right now. Fist bump, high five, whatever have you.
Yeah.
Well, I know you've got limited time tonight, and we could spend the whole night talking about Mortal Kombat. However, I have been trying to get you on this show so that I can have you do a what's called experience share, where I've had people on before who are super into certain things, like whether like I've had someone on to talk Okami, Chrono Trigger. I've since played Chrono Trigger. I've not played Okami yet. And I had my friend Liesel come on because she's super into the Yakuza series. I have not played those, nor have I played Shenmue, which is kind of like the spiritual predecessor. Which is also absurd because I'm a huge Sega fan. I've got a Sonic and Knuckles shirt on right now. I've got freaking Sonic and Knuckles plushies next to me. I have somehow never played the Shenmue games. Also, the Dreamcast is one of my favorite consoles of all time. And I know you are like quite literally president of the Shenmue fan club, so I had to have you specifically on.
I wouldn't say that, but I appreciate it. There are people that are far more active and involved than I am, but I appreciate it.
Well, wait, not to go back to Mortal Kombat, but Bob Sherb says I thought it was Frosty. I think they say that in one of them if you do a Sub-Zero fatality, right? Frosty.
I don't know, actually. If I remember correctly, it might be written out in text.
Maybe that was it.
But, yeah, said out loud, I might be wrong. Don't quote me on it, but I don't think so. And if anybody knows where it's from, please let us know.
Just a couple of fake Mortal Kombat fans here.
Yeah, right?
No.
As I sit right next to my original script of Mortal Kombat 1995.
Right. Oh, my God. I mean, do you mean the best video game movie of all time?
Yes. The greatest movie ever made.
Truth. I just rewatched it. I showed my girlfriend for I know, we watched that a couple of years ago. So this was the second time for her. Probably 50th time for me. Anyway, back to Shenmue. I wanted, like I said, you specifically to come on because I think you are the greatest wealth of knowledge for this franchise, and also I know how much it means to you personally. You've shared that there's like a deep personal connection that you have to this series, and I'd love to talk about why in whatever feels comfortable for you. But I guess I would love to start at the beginning and say, like, what's the first time? Do you remember the first time you played it? What was it that like hooked you? And what do you think keeps it like one of your favorites?
Oh, okay. I know we only have like a half hour.
Yeah.
So I'll try to truncate it.
We're speedrunning this.
But yes. Oh, man. I got to speedrun the last... how long has it been since 1999?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right on the dot. Shenmue is something that is very personal to me. I could say even like it's pretty much a part of my identity at this point in my life. But where it all started was I was playing video games well before Shenmue, right? I started on my grandfather's Atari 2600, which he actually gifted to me when he passed, which was very nice of him.
Wow.
And then, the NES, then I had a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis. And then from there, I went to the N64 and the PlayStation. And for maybe younger viewers, they might not know, but back then, video games were very much like there was a lot of companies that were trying to find like how to make a game that feels like real life. Like they're chasing that life simulator, so to speak. And there are quite a few games that got close, but I feel like Shenmue was the first one that truly realized it. But where it started with me was I originally found out about the Dreamcast because I was a subscriber to a gaming magazine, and it was GamePro. GamePro was my subscription. I'm actually in an issue of GamePro, which I'll have a YouTube
No way, that's sick.
video about in the near future. But yeah, they published a letter I sent to them when I was 11 years old and made fun of me. It's hilarious.
Oh no!
After the podcast call, after the call, I'll talk more about it. But
Hell yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it for everybody just yet.
Okay.
But so there was an issue that came out, and it was talking about the Dreamcast. And one of the things that they were talking about was just how revolutionary the system is and how cool it looks and whatnot. And they were showing games like Ready to Rumble Boxing, Sonic Adventure, and they showed Shenmue, right? And I don't know why, but when I saw those initial screenshots, something just like spoke to me about it. I think it was just because like, wow, like these graphics are nothing like we've ever seen before. And like my little kid mind was like blown, I was like, how is this even possible in video games?
You're like,
nowadays
we'll never get any better than this.
Yeah. nowadays we take all that for granted because games just look like near photorealistic at this point. But back
Totally.
then, hardware wasn't what it is now, and to pull off anything like extraordinary was very hard to do, and I give those developers so much credit.
Yeah.
Um, so it spoke to me, right? So it was on my radar before it came out, and then I just awaited its release. And I remember the first day I played it. It's kind of a fun little story. So so at the time I was living in central New Jersey, and I would always rent video games from my local Blockbuster, right?
Yes.
Specifically, for anyone in the Central Jersey area, it was the old Blockbuster on Route 18 in East Brunswick, New Jersey. Represent. The building is still there, and I pass it quite often. And every time I pass it, I think about it.
Oh.
So aside from Shenmue, I was also really into Dead or Alive at the time.
Yeah.
And I
hell
went
yeah.
to Blockbuster. Oh yeah, cannot wait for Dead or Alive 7.
Same.
So I went to the Blockbuster and I wanted to rent Dead or Alive 2. Right? So I go to the Dreamcast shelf and I pick up D2, thinking it stood for Dead or Alive 2.
Oh, that's so funny.
D2
That's
is
like
a very different game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very weird game. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. It's amazing. And then also the prequel D for the Saturn. So, I bring it to the counter, and I remember that Shenmue was supposed to come out. And I asked the guy behind the counter, if I remember correctly, his name was Steve?
Wow. Shout out to Steve in
don't-
New Brunswick, New
Yeah.
Jersey's Blockbuster. I know you're watching.
Yeah. So I asked him, I was like, oh, do you have like Shenmue in stock? And he's like, yep, we just got it. And I immediately rented it. It was like the day it came out.
Nice.
And I brought it home and I put it in my Dreamcast and I booted it up. And I don't even know how to explain it to you. When you turn Shenmue on, and you let it just roll. You don't hit the start button to go to the menu or anything. It plays that cutscene where Shenhua is talking about the prophecy in the game, and I don't know what it was. It gave me chills,
Yeah.
and I knew that it was something special. So, started playing it and whatnot, and this is where it's going to get a little personal. So, my childhood was very chaotic, shall we say. There was a lot of issues. I'm not going to get into them.
Sure.
Medical stuff with family members and whatnot. So I was always very much the kid who was locked in his room and would never talk to anybody. I was a very disturbed child. And I would play Shenmue, and Shenmue was like so realistic. It still is. That it felt like a vacation, right?
Yeah.
And
An escape.
it was like, yeah, it was my escape from everything going on in my family life. And it's what kept me motivated and all that when everything else around me just like felt so disrupted in
Yeah.
ways. And mind you, I'm like 11 years old. So
Right.
like, very emotional kid. And like, I'll truncate it a bit, but like the lessons that are taught in that game, the culture that's taught in that game is very foreign to just your average American child that
Yeah.
didn't really understand the world. Like
Right.
when you get into the philosophy of martial arts and you get into mythology of other countries and you get into like the day-to-day culture and personalities of people.
Yeah.
It was like kind of a way to see the world when to me the world felt so small.
Yeah.
So in the macroscopic view, it was like that escape from reality, and it was always my escape from reality. It's all I did was play Shenmue and Jet Set Radio.
You're speaking my language now. Jet Set Radio is
dude, the amount of graffiti I made in that game.
the amount of graffiti I made in real
so-
life because of that game. That game is like 25% of my personality.
Oh, we have a lot to talk about. So to kind of make a long story short, it was the game that kept me sane when everything in my life was dragging me down, and I will never, always give it credit for that. It kept me sane. It kept me from developing the values and personalities that other people in my family have developed that are not the best people I know.
Yeah.
I feel like Shenmue taught me to be very like caring for other people, and it taught me the value of friendship and the values of like so many positive things in life. And I don't know who I would be without it.
Wow.
And it's for that reason specifically that I care about it so much, because it formed who I am. It also formed what I do for a living, and that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
to get into that conversation, or unless you had another question,
well,
or I'm just going to keep running on, dude.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to jump in and say, like, I think that's really beautiful that you had that game as kind of an escape to help you cope with really chaotic upbringings, and that it taught you so much about empathy and kindness. And on a somewhat similar level, like, I also had a very tumultuous upbringing, very chaotic, and you know, abuse of many kinds. And for me, that game was like, believe it or not, it was actually Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. It's still my favorite game of all time.
I love Oddworld.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because it's...
I have my copy of Abe's Odyssey right next to me, actually.
Hell yeah. Funny. I love that game so much. Yeah. And on the surface, it might just look like, oh, wow, yeah, the little weird farty guy. But, like, the point of that game is empathy and saving your other, your peers at this, from enslavement, basically. And I didn't realize how much, like, especially in an era where it was just like... video games would like blow shit up and kill people, that it was like something like kindness felt foreign, and that like it shaped me more than I think I really ever gave it credit for. So it's so cool to hear that Shenmue was kind of the same thing for you. And you're talking about like culturally too, like it probably felt like how deep of like it's real life. Like Drew the Damager in chat is saying Shenmue was the first game I played where I had to get a job in game. Like, and I'm like,
yo, the forklift, hell yeah! I've driven forklifts before, and Shenmue is pretty accurate with the exception of how heavy the boxes can get.
Right. Bob Sherbs is talking about how they handle with loss in that game. But like even just talking about culturally, like this was also the time where like Pokemon and anime and stuff were being censored for being quote unquote too oriental, to like use a very dated term. And they were like calling onigiri jelly donuts and shit. So like the fact that you were able to like experience like not just another world outside your own, but like a culture too, and like learn about that. And is that how you like kind of got into martial? I know you like got into martial arts a little bit. You said it's how kind of how you got into game dev. Like how much of your life do you attribute to this game?
Oh, buddy, let me tell you.
Besides everything.
So, professionally, I am I'll make this short, a Linux security engineer. And all of that love for computer security derives from Shenmue. And the reason why is because, you know, whoever may be listening may know that, like, Shenmue 2 ends abruptly. Right?
Oh, okay.
It ends at I don't want to say too much because I really want you to play the games, and I don't want to spoil the ending. But
please don't.
my friend Adam Koralik, if you watch Dreamcast YouTubers, you probably have heard of him. He describes the ending of Shenmue 2 in a very specific way.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the movie? I believe it's The Green Mile.
No, I actually don't think so. I know of it.
Okay. Though. All right, I don't want to spoil that movie either, so never mind. Let's just say that to the average game player, Shenmue is very grounded in reality.
Yeah. Right?
Even though it's technically not, but I don't want to get into spoiler territory because I feel like you would really like this game.
Yeah.
But Shenmue 2 ends with a moment that completely breaks that grounding and just goes straight to credits.
Oh, weird.
Nothing else. Yeah. So, but I was on a community forum called Shenmue Dojo. Still to this day, I joined in like 2001, and there's a guy on that forum who, you know, I still see him post here and there. He goes by the name Lon DC, and he was one of the guys that discovered that on the discs for Shenmue 2, there's like files that are completely unused that kind of hint to Shenmue 3 and where it was going. Oh. So like unused character models, I believe there was subtitles and all this stuff. And to my very young mind, it became like an obsession. What is Shenmue 3?
Yeah.
What is this, right? Like, where does it go? Like, I can't fathom how amazing this story will be. And that led me to also learning how to hack those games, to also like try to find that data and get really obsessed with it and whatnot. And doing that at such a young age, I was already into computers, but that's what cemented my love for like exploitation and security and stuff like that. So Shenmue is pretty much like the foundation of my career that I still do to this day.
That's wild.
Um, yeah, it also kind of gave me my vernacular. Like I have a friend. I recently moved to a new town about a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
and I made a new friend here. And that friend started playing Shenmue, and they called me halfway through the game and being like, "Wow, you sound a lot like Rio. You talk exactly like him." And I'm like, "Yeah." And if you ever play Shenmue, like you'll know that the way people talk in that game can be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Um,
I hear the voice
but yeah,
acting is
so
not the best. The English voice acting.
okay, hang on. All right, I'm gonna roll that back for a minute. So
Okay.
some of those voice actors are friends of mine, right? Because in the
Wow.
modern day, I also run some of the communities. So like Corey Marshall, Lisa Wilkerson, Eric Kelso are dear friends of mine. They voice some of the main characters. Like Corey voices Ryo Hazuki,
Hmm.
Lisa voices Shuing, she voices Joy. She also voices, I believe, was it Nozomi's mom in Shenmue 3? And Eric voices a bunch of main characters, and Corey voices the main guy. And I've met up with them in person quite a few times, and they've done their voices in person for me, and they sound amazing.
Hmm.
So the way it was explained to me was that the game was dubbed in Japan, and they were on such a short time frame that they kind of just did the first take for everything
Wow. Okay.
without context.
Oh no.
So that's why the dubbing sounds kind of weird in it.
Oh,
But I feel like
interesting.
it adds to the charm. Like when I go
Oh,
back and play
totally.
Shenmue, like there's such a charm to the voice acting.
Yeah.
So
It all seems like
yeah,
so aesthetic now because we're so far
yeah,
ahead of this time period that like playing it I imagine I'll get a sense of nostalgia for an era that I never even experienced because it is so slice of life. Like it's so grounded, like you said. Like you could get a real job in it. I know you can walk around.
yeah.
Like I know very little. Like I almost am kind of going in totally blind. I know you can like play like gotcha games and like try to get little Sonic figures and stuff. Like
Yep.
I love the idea of getting lost in this world, and we probably should actually talk about a little bit about the actual gameplay. So, like for those who don't know, like how would you
Sure.
describe this game? Because it seems kind of like a martial arts action, but kind of visual novel. Because I know there's a lot of dialogue, and I know it's kind of slow, but like,
Oh yeah.
how would you? Which is okay. Like if it's compelling, a lot of times people are like, I don't know, man, this game's really slow. But I'm like, if it's compelling, I will stay on the same screen for the entire time, like so like how would you describe how this game plays?
So Shenmue, so it is technically in its own genre, coined by Yu Suzuki. He calls it Free, Free,
Oh wow.
which stands for Full Reactive Eyes Entertainment.
Whoa.
And the idea of it is very much based in like micro detail and stuff. But if I were to put Shenmue in like any modern wording for like game genres, I would say it's very much a adventure game
Hmm.
um with some like fighting in it.
Hmm.
Because like the gameplay itself, you play as Ryo Hazuki, and pretty much you can think of it like a detective game. You have like a
Yeah.
notebook where he writes down clues. You
Okay.
have like your objective from getting from A to B on terms of getting information or meeting people, and you just talk to all the locals in like the town that you're in, which is Yokosuka in Japan.
Hmm.
That's another cool thing about Shenmue. Pretty much all the towns except for Kowloon, because Kowloon's walled city doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
It's a park now. Are real places you can actually visit in real life. And Yokosuka in Shenmue, I've been to Yokosuka in Japan. It looks pretty much the same. It's really funny.
That's so cool.
But uh, so you walk around, you talk to people to get information, and you get into fights here and there. The fighting engine for Shenmue 1 and 2 is literally just the Virtua Fighter engine
Yeah.
that's modified.
I remember hearing that it was going
Yeah,
to be a Virtua Fighter like adventure game first before they were like, let's just make it its own thing.
yeah, yeah.
Also,
On the Sega Saturn, it started its development as VFRPG Akira's Story,
that's right.
and eventually it became its own game released on the Dreamcast. But a lot of that DNA of Virtua Fighter is still in there. Like there's characters in Shenmue that you can literally trace which Virtua Fighter character they were supposed to be.
Yeah, he's obviously Rio is obviously Akira.
Yeah.
But Bob Sharp's chat is saying apparently they used actual weather data too, like historically accurate.
Yes.
What?
Yep. So when you beat Shenmue 1, you unlock what is called Magic Weather, which is a feature where so in the game there's dynamic weather. It could be like snowing, it could be raining, it could be thunderstorm, it could be clear, and it's different for every playthrough. So and like even in the promotional videos they would talk about that where they're like two people can play the same scene but it would be different weather for the both of them. But when you beat it, you unlock a feature. It's only in Shenmue 1 where you actually play the game with the real Yokosuka weather that happened at that time. So Shenmue takes place first in 1986.
Okay.
You eventually get to 1987, and you get the actual weather for Yokosuka on that month and day of that year in the game.
That is absurd. What a cool little detail. And this is what, 1999?
Yeah.
1999. That is wild.
Yeah, it's insane. Another feature of the game that nobody talks about because not a lot of people know about it is that the phases of the moon in the game are programmatic as well. So like the moon will dynamically change if it's like waxing or waning or a half moon or a full moon. It's actually programmed into the game to change dynamically, which wasn't really that well known until the Shenmue re-release came out. And D3T, the developer that handled that, spoke about it when they were reverse engineering the code. They're like, "Wow, we cannot believe that Yu Suzuki's team actually went and made a programmatic moon on the Dreamcast."
Wow. Yeah, I've got my 2 copies here of the Shenmue 1 and 2 on PS4 and Shenmue 3 as well. I have all 3 games and I've not touched them.
I'm going to see you in like a month in person. I'm going to ask you. I'll be like, "Yo, did you play them yet?"
Yeah, that's right. Well, I probably will play them next. So
it
like on Mondays I do. Yeah, did you play my game yet? On Mondays I do here on Twitch I do Main Quest Mondays. So it's where I just play like story-based games that I'm going through. And I'm probably about halfway through Armored Core 6. So I think when I beat that, this is going to be my next one.
Ooh, Armored Core 2 Another Age is probably my favorite in this series.
Oh, okay. I didn't play any until 4. I really got into 4 on the 360. But this one's incredible. It's so good.
The music for the PS2 games of the Armored Core series is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I highly recommend you check out the soundtracks.
Is it the same team that makes Ace Combat?
Maybe? Well, Armored Core is FromSoft. Does FromSoft make Ace Combat?
No, but it is Bandai Namco, so that's why I wasn't sure. They're both Bandai Namco, and they feel kind of similar.
Oh, I thought FromSoft made Armored Core.
Well, yeah, but they're like I don't know who on Bandai Namco, like, because sometimes it's like, Square Enix will be the publisher, but they're not the developer, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah, it's also wild playing a post Dark Souls Armored Core. You're like, oh yeah, you definitely made this after Dark Souls because it feels like Dark Souls with mechs.
Right. If you ever get the chance, go back and play the originals like Armored Core and Project Phantasma on the PS1, and then Armored Core. There's like a billion Armored Cores for PS2, but they're all really good.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely. Those have been on my list since I got into this one. It's like building a Gundam. I made one of my last thing about this, and we'll get back to Shenmue. I know we're running short on time. Just because I know you'll appreciate it as a Sega fan, I went into with the parts that I had available currently at the time of doing it in Armored Core 6. I made a Temjin from Virtual On.
Oh, did you? Oh, dude. Nobody talks about Virtual On. Like,
right?
Onatario Tangram.
Yeah.
Like the whole Cyber Troopers like series is so good.
It's ridiculously good. It needs to come back. They need to put an affordable twin stick controller out so people can actually play it again. I need this. Sega, I know you're watching my stream. Make this happen, please. But anyway, so I guess just in our last little bit of time, I know you got a hard out, so whenever you need to go, we can go. Can we go right up to 10?
Sure.
We got like just under 15 minutes. I wanted to ask, like, is there something, like, if somebody's looking things up about this game, and that's pretty much all I've seen is like some clips here and there. There's obviously like these characters have appeared in other Sega properties and like Easter eggs and stuff, but I've never properly dove into the game itself. I know the vibes, like the kind of real world, very grounded, very like you can get lost in this. But is there something that like you might not get at a first glance about these games that like something maybe that particularly stuck with you, or like something that you feel is like really intrinsic to the DNA that is just like, this is what Shenmue is?
Yes. Oh, I can definitely explain that. So this kind of harkens into the conversation of people wanting Shenmue to be completed as like an anime or a book or something like that. Shenmue has a very specific focus on micro detail,
Right.
right? So things like you can go up to someone's house and read their nameplate. You can knock on people's doors even if they're not home. The thing and like you can go to the store and buy a cassette, like a cassette of like a song from the soundtrack and play it on a boombox that you can win in a raffle at the Tomato convenience store. Like there's all these little micro details that connect to each other. But the one that I find the coolest is that in Shenmue, every single NPC is voiced. Right? There's over 100,000 lines of dialogue in
Holy
Shenmue
crap.
1 alone. Yeah, I only know that because I'm make mods for these games, so I constantly look at the files.
Yeah.
And like all these characters are voiced. Every single character has a biography.
What?
So Yu Suzuki and his team sat down and wrote out like every single NPC, which I forget how many there are in Shenmue 1, but Shenmue 2 has over 500 of them.
Oh my god.
And every character has a job. Every character has a blood type, a birthday. Every character has a backstory. So some of that doesn't make it into the game and only existed on the Shenmue Passport disc, or it never made it into the game and only exists in Yu Suzuki's notes, but it was detailed. And the cool thing about that is Shenmue pioneered the idea of NPCs in video games having their own lives, their own schedules.
Yeah.
Like the biggest example I could think of that is Oblivion. Oblivion's Radiant AI system is very heavily Shenmue coded.
Wow.
So I'll give an example. There's a character who works at the Tomato convenience store during the day, right? This guy. At a certain time of day, his shift ends, and you can watch him leave his job, and you can follow him around the town and see what he does. You'll see that he stops at Ajiichi, which is a Chinese restaurant in the game, to get some noodles, and then he leaves. And every night he goes to the local mahjong parlor and is there for like an hour, and then goes home, and you can follow him and find out where he lives in the game. You never have to do that, but it's all there. You can literally do that. So that specific attention to detail is what makes this game feel alive.
Yeah.
And that's something that I will say that not a lot of people grasp if they're just watching YouTube videos.
Yeah. That's a great answer. And I love that you had that at the ready. You're like, yup, I think about this all the time. And this is what, how many years before Oblivion? Oblivion was what, 2006?
Yeah, no, it was supposed to come out in 2006. It was supposed to be a launch title for the 360, but it got delayed into early 2007, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Still, like, what, 8 years before Oblivion?
Yeah.
I remember, like, a kind of modicum of that showing up in, like Fable on the original Xbox, where you could kind of follow people around, but it was still pretty basic. But the fact that this is a Dreamcast game, developed as a Saturn game, and they have this level of like that micro detail that other games, its peers wouldn't really have anything like for another almost 10 years. That's wild. What a legacy. What an experience here on the Experience Point.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating. It blew my mind when I was young, and it still blows my mind to this day. Like once I started getting into like looking into how to make video games myself, it gave me such more appreciation for the technical work that went into Shenmue, especially on hardware like the Dreamcast. Like we have PlayStation 5, we have giant PCs, and when I sit here and try to figure this stuff out from a technical aspect, I don't even know how to get it to work.
Yeah.
So like the people that sat there and figured it out on hardware from 1999 is wild.
Yeah, or like, not to call back to Mortal Kombat again, but like what they did in the 90s with just the memory that you had available, like stretching like the what, I don't know, what was that, like probably a 25 megabyte CD, to its absolute limits.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember many interviews with Ed Boon saying that the limitation that was the biggest was the amount of memory they had.
Yeah, that's why we get all the palette swap ninjas, because they take the same amount of memory, they just shift the color. Oh man, that's cool. Well, I know we're coming up on time. I just wanted to say I think this is the most hype that I've gotten about a. Sorry if you're still in the chat, Drew. I did get very excited when you told me about Chrono Trigger, and I played it immediately. But I can't tell you how excited I am to crack open Shenmue and finally play this game. Your passion is infectious. It has been for 10 years. Every time we run into each other at a convention, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the fucking Shenmue guy. I gotta get him on my podcast and talk about this game. I seriously was like, I will not play this until I talk to James on my stream about Shenmue. So I caught the infection. Maybe it was already there, just dormant, but now it is fully activated, and I cannot wait to play this game. And I will be texting you about it when I do.
Yeah, no, please do. I cannot wait for you to tell me you finished the first game, and I'm going to send you the quiz.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Well, I'm
going to ask you the most crazy questions.
Well, how do you feel about the... Because I am not a millionaire, so I'm not going to buy them on the original Dreamcast, but are the HD remakes good enough for a first experience?
I'm a little biased because I was playing. I had an early copy of the PC version well before it came out, but I really don't know if I can go into detail on that.
Sure.
However,
it fell off the back of a truck, yes, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I would say yes and no. And the reason for that, I would say yes because it's so accessible. The HD remakes are absolutely amazing. Like, they're very well done. However, as someone who knows these games inside and out, the HD re-releases do have problems. For example, none of the online features are there. The original Shenmue has like what is called a passport disc, which has a bunch of bonus features on it. Which, if anyone knows about the passport disc, there is now a fan server that exists for it as of like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, sick!
So you can now play it online again. With things like mini game leaderboards and all that.
What?
Huge credit to that team that got that to work. I was not involved in that, so but I want to give big credit to the people that worked on that. For the life of me, I don't remember the name of the team. I'm sorry, but if you just Google it, you'll find it. And also, there's some glitches in the HD re-release that are a little annoying. Like, for instance, in Shenmue 2, there's a part in the Kowloon section of the game where you get into these street fights, and there's one street fight that if you lose it, you get to retry it, right? But it breaks all the audio in the game. You got to quit the game.
Oh, no.
You got to reload the game. So there's little things like that. There's also some transition animation issues. But you know, but that's like really like elitist level complaining. But to anyone trying them for the first time, please, the re-release is perfectly fine to use.
Okay, I'll probably do that then, with your blessing. Like, you think all I need to know is like the experience, as long as that's intact and they didn't take out anything that kind of really detracts from the experience of, like, if the identity of the game is still intact, then I'm totally fine with a little bit of glitch here and there.
Right. Yeah, I would say definitely. Also, like, you know, it's always on sale. Like, I see Shenmue 2 on Steam for like $5 or PSN for like $5. $5 for Shenmue is a huge steal.
Right.
The Dreamcast games aren't too expensive. I'd say like Shenmue 1's probably like $35 US, somewhere around there.
I always see them at shops and stuff, and they're like over 100. That's why I was like, I'm not rich enough to buy a real copy. And maybe that's just around here, but yeah.
Wow, I'll just lend you my copy.
No, I could never do that.
You don't live that far from me.
That's true.
Yeah, but
well, you mentioned.
No, yep.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just because you mentioned the Kowloon section, that reminded me. When you mentioned you went to Japan. Did you get to go to that Kowloon themed arcade before it closed?
Oh, I believe it was called the Kawasaki. Was it Kawasaki?
I think it was
arcade?
called like
I forget what it was.
Your arcade, or what the hell was that game? What was that called? It might have been like a Kawasaki. Oh my god!
I mean, the arcade in Shenmue is called U Arcade, if that's what you're thinking of.
Oh, maybe that was it.
No, I didn't. I was very sad when it closed because I really wanted to go.
Yeah. Oh, Warehouse Kawasaki. Yeah. You nailed it.
Yeah. I didn't get to go because I wasn't in Japan at the time, and it only lasted a few years, which was really sad because it looked absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I would have loved to experience it.
Not to throw out another deep cut experience share game that I've shared before, but it looked like the interior of like a Phantom Dust level inside. Like it was just like smashed up concrete, and like you had to walk over like water and like step on like broken pipes and stuff to get in there, and the vibe was so immaculate. I was so excited to go, and I think it closed in 2020 because of COVID, and I was slated to go to Japan that year, and everything shut down, and then that place closed, and it broke my heart.
Yeah.
And it remains broken until something like that opens again. But that whole
COVID ruined the Shenmue thing for mine as well. But continue. Sorry, I think I interrupted you.
I was just gonna say, like, the whole aesthetic and idea of like the Kowloon walled city is just fascinating. It's depressing and dark as hell, but fascinating, and from an aesthetic standpoint, unmatched. So it's cool to hear that like you can go to visit that kind of place in Shenmue.
Yeah, Shenmue 2 is also pretty much a time capsule because it's a pretty accurate version of the Kowloon walled city. And as far as I'm aware, Shenmue, and maybe if you play Stray as well, the cat game that came out a few years ago, they're probably the most like in detailed recreation of Kowloon ever made.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't played that, but it looks really cool. I mean, I'm always down for pseudo post-apocalyptic anything, so, or full-on post-apocalyptic.
Right.
It seems like in that, but I know we're coming up on time, so again, I am super stoked to play these. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your evening with me and kind of gushing about something that I know is very dear to you.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. I wish we had more time because there's so much more I can talk about.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, life is just like that.
Life is lifing. No, this is great. This is awesome. I know it was a long time coming. I appreciate the time. I will say, I know you mentioned, and we touched on, that you're in game dev. If there's anything that you want to talk about, anything you have upcoming, or anything you want to plug or shout out, or where people can find you if they want more of your face and or voice and or talents.
Sure. I am working on a video game series. However, I don't really have much to talk about with it. But if you want any updates in the future, you can find me on YouTube, which if you just search my name, James Reiner, you'll either find me or the hockey player James Reimer with an M. On Instagram, I tend to share things. My Instagram is Shengoro86, which has been my username since I was a little kid.
Yeah. Shenmue.
I need to change it one day.
Shenmue and Goro from Mortal Kombat?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, if you play Shenmue, I will see if you can guess what my username actually stands for.
Okay.
But nobody to this day has ever been able to tell me what it means because they always think it's Goro from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, it's not.
That's so funny. Also, speaking of this game, Bob Sherbs asked in chat, do you need any playtesters for your game?
Not at the moment, but thank you.
Okay.
It's still in the very experimenting development phase.
Yeah, from what I've seen you share on Facebook, it's a lot of referencing PT, which scared the shit out of me. So I love you, but I probably won't be playing your game. I'm sure it's going to be great.
It's okay. But I would be surprised if even one person plays it. Like, I'm just making it for myself, and if other people like it, then that's a win, even if it's just one person.
Yeah, that's a great way to create things. You make something that you wanted to, create something that you've always wanted to see. And if you think when you put the passion into it, I think people will come. Maybe I should have phrased that differently.
I mean, I guess that depends on what game you're trying to make.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we did talk about Dead or Alive earlier.
Yeah, I was about to make that joke. Let's talk about Dead or Alive Extreme 3 on the PS5.
God. It's so funny.
Or what's the newest one? Venus Vacation or whatever it's called?
I'm sure it's something like that. I get shit on all the time because I love that game. I love fighting games, and it's a solid fighting game. Like it's got a great fighting system, and the characters are super cool. And just like Mortal Kombat, half the cast is ninjas, which is why I got into it in the first place.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, the big booby game? Yeah, I'm sure you love it. I'm like, no! Dude, porn exists! You can get that anywhere. I just like the game. Leave me alone. Ayana is my wife. Wait, what?
Yeah, rest in peace, Tomonobu Itagaki-san.
Oh, I know. Pour one out for a real
Yeah,
one.
the creator of Dead or Alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
that really made me sad when he passed, but that was only a few months ago.
I know,
But
and it
yeah,
seems like
man.
Harada-san from Tekken is retiring partially because of that. He's like, I'm seeing what this is doing to my body, like overworking myself, and I don't want to end up like him. And I'm like, holy shit, that's so profound. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, game development, like if you ever want a great example, look up the development of Halo 2 and what that did to its staff.
I was just
it can
thinking
be
that.
very intense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was gnarly. Well,
Yep.
I will let you go. Thank you again. I will sign off how I always do. Thank you guys. Thank you gals. Thank you non-binary pals. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Drink more water. Go to therapy. Oh, what was the name of the game? James is deving. Oh, can you share what that is? I think it's just Project something. I don't want to share it if you don't want to, though.
No. There is a working title for it, but I would rather not say it out loud yet.
Okay.
But stay tuned.
Keep it under the cuff. Well, I will.
I know what name you were about to reference,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
not what it's called anymore.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Yep. I will zip it and set it and forget it. Thanks all. I usually end with a recommendation, but of course there's only one thing that I can say, and that's play Shenmue. Anything that you feel, any experiences, could be a game, we're talking about games, that you feel more people need to experience besides Shenmue that I can recommend?
Oh, that's a great question.
Usually I say Phantom Dust.
Ooh, I wasn't prepared for that one. If I were to think of a game that really needs more love, I would say Snatcher on Sega CD or MSX.
Oh, the OG Kojima one?
Yeah, because like I mean it used to be a Metal Gear game, but it's
Yeah.
kind of been written out of the canon at this point.
Metal
But
Gear.
Snatcher is such a great example of like a point and click like adventure game. That and Police Knots.
Yeah.
Snatcher is one of my favorite games, and I've met people who love Metal Gear Solid but have never played Snatcher, and it breaks my heart.
I am
So
one
I
of
would
them.
say that game deserves a lot more recognition than
Oh,
it
man.
gets.
Okay. Did Snatcher come before Police Knots?
Yes.
Okay. I do want to play those at some point. So after Shenmue, and then after Shenmue 2, and then after Shenmue 3. No. I do at some point want to go back and play those. Anyway, thank you again for your time. I will let you go. I know we're a little bit beyond our time. I'm going to share you guys to my buddy Risuru, who told me about Yakuza. I feel like it's only right to go right from Shenmue to Yakuza. They are playing Chrono Trigger right now. This is for you, Drew. Thanks again, James. We will see y'all in the next one. Peace.